Morning. As we know, in order to promote the most amount of concentration in anything in life, we don't have any interruptions which will ruin our concentration. And when it comes to the fact of praying our silent Amida, we learned not to interrupt, and we're going to learn this morning, very quickly, a couple circumstances where we are supposed to interrupt in order that it promotes more of our concentration. Last night we mentioned one of them. We mentioned that if a person's in the middle of their prayer and they don't know what to do next, they made a mistake, they prayed the wrong Amida, they missed something, they added something, they don't know what to do. If in the Sidur they are praying in, there is not the halakha in order, and the instruction in order to tell them what to do, they're allowed to not talk, obviously, walk over to the bookshelf where there is a halachic book, and they're allowed to open it up and look for the answer and then continue their prayer. And that was one instance. Imagine if we are praying, whether it's indoors or outdoors, and this is the famous case in the Talmud, and a snake comes and wraps itself, or it's either coming and attacking you, or it's wrapping itself around your leg. So we all know the Talmud says, you're not even allowed to move for that. Now, that was in a certain specific situation. The Talmud right after that says, but a scorpion, you would be allowed to move, kill it, even scream or speak to others to get others to beware. Because a scorpion, most of the time, is always venomous and deadly. And back then, the snake that they were talking about was a snake that was not venomous or deadly. It didn't even bite, it did not hurt. Nowadays, Chacham Ovadia Yosef says that since we are not so knowledgeable in differentiating between what's a venomous snake, what's dangerous, what's not, any snake that comes our way has the same halacha as a scorpion, and a person would be allowed to, whether it would be kill it, or move away from it, or run, whatever a person would have to do. The next would be, imagine someone is praying at home, it happens sometimes, and someone's knocking at the door. Or the home phone or your cell phone's not near you, and it's ringing and it's ringing and it's ringing, and you can't continue concentrating. If someone's knocking at the door, you just can't continue. So, best case scenario would be to wait, let the knocking continue, or pass and finish, or let the phone finish ringing. But if it's not stopping, listen to this halakha, you're allowed to go over to the phone to turn it off, or you're allowed to even go answer the door and sign to the person that you're not allowed to speak right now, and go back to your prayer. And the point of that would be, again, to get back to your prayer in order to promote its concentration. We'll give two last examples. A child, a small child who is either running around making noise or crying and making noise, and that's obviously ruining the concentration of the prayer. For sure for yourself, and if you're at the synagogue, even for others. In a case like that, one would be allowed to pick up their child. If the child is not calming down, you would even be allowed to walk outside of the synagogue with your child, continue your prayer there with him in your hand in order not to disrupt others around. Similarly to an older child who's coming and asking a question to their father or their mother when they're praying. If they're coming and asking what page to pray on, can I eat this, can I do this? Ideally, we should teach our children not to interrupt us in the middle of Amida, go figure. But if they do, then we would be allowed to either open the book for them and show them where to pray, or open the wrapper to show them. The reason for that would be because it's better for you to have a quick, small interruption now rather than ruining the rest of the prayer. Last example I'll give is also, as we've spoken about this, is going to the restroom. Of course, we know we need to go and relieve ourselves before we pray, but if in the middle of the Amidah one has to go and they cannot hold it in, they are allowed to go, come back, and continue where they were. And in any of these times that we interrupt, we go back to where we left off. We're not supposed to speak, you're not going to do Asher Yatzar, but you go back to where you left off. With this one condition, and with this I'll end, is as long as the time that you interrupted in Amidah is not as long as your Amidah per se, then you would go